Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far, and as FormaL reveals that him and Dashy believe that the Neptune benching by the York Subliners was a solely Crimsix driven operation. It seems Neptune may be returning to the starting team sooner than some people expected. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you are new as always, I'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much also for 75,000 subscribers. Been fantastic support from you guys the last few months or so. Well on the road to 100k now. I think it's probably about time as well we did another Q&A. Lots has changed since the 50k one I did, so keep an eye out on the community post tab. Sometime tomorrow I'll do a post. Any replies to that, I'll do a Q&A in, I suppose, a week or so. Just before Major 1, I think it's going to be the plan, because March is going to be packed out with Call of Duty content most certainly. Let's dive into things first of all. This from the flank. This, if you guys remember this, the classic GG versus Priestahh 1 versus 1 from Infinite Warfare. Just, well, good times looking back on this one. But, well, let's crack on with stuff. Firstly, this from the Subliners. There's actually going to be another Challengers LAN tournament going on very soon indeed. We'd love to see competitive COD played at all levels. Happy to support eZone Media's LAN tournament in New York relatively soon. So we saw that New York, or we saw that Minnesota, sorry, at their Major 2 LAN, they're going to do a Challengers LAN associated with that. Cool to see that finally Challengers LANs are going to be back in business here in the Call of Duty world. This also from Blast real quick, just to mention what's going on with Paris, because things have changed in the Paris camp. Yesterday we talked about the rumoured roster of 4 that was going to be with John at Temp, Decimate of course out of there, Fellow out of there, and Gravity and Jimbo into the team. Doesn't look like that's going to be the team of 4 going forwards. This I did think was quite interesting as Blast and Decimate kind of like an OG duo. He says the fact that Decimate is probably getting shafted again is comical. Guy needs a real opportunity to showcase his talents. Sib even says in the reply he's actually a top tier player. Mind blowing this fool needs an actual team rather than the opportunities he's got the last year or so. But it's an interesting discussion this really, because Decimate has had a fair few opportunities, right? Last year he had a chance on Seattle. He then kind of dipped from Seattle because he thought it was going to ruin his stock. Then he got to go to New York when Asim had the whole visa situation. Not actually sure which one of those came first. This year he gets the chance on Paris, and now seemingly he's been dropped anyway. And I'm not really sure that he deserved to get dropped. We talked about that yesterday. But I don't know what you guys think about this, because of course some players, they come into league and get a great opportunity on a great team and look fantastic. But some players have, well, difficult time getting decent opportunities and decent spots and actually looking good and up to their potential. At the same time, that if you really are like an undeniable force, like you're probably going to show it regardless. Like Afro last year came into a pretty dysfunctional London team, looked fantastic, like had some crazy highlight moments, and like honestly helped them win series single-handedly, looked like a superstar, has continued to play like a superstar this year, and has kind of certified himself as one of the greatest players in the league. And he did that joining a team last season that was, 11th, 10th, 9th, maybe, at best really in the league last year, and he still made it work. So, I don't know, interesting discussion for you guys, I'm sure, to have in the comment section below. But this is what seems to have changed on the Paris Legion front. Jimbo is now looking for a challenger team for the Elite Qualifiers. There's a chance the team is now only adding Gravity and not Jimbo. So as he says, need a team for the Elite Qualifiers. Ended up deleting this one, I'm pretty sure. So yes, Gravity for Fellow still potentially as the main AR. Whether they keep Decimate after all, or whether they look for an alternative for Jimbo, that's a possibility, because there's plenty of alternatives out there. Like if Paris do want to make some moves here, as it looks like they do indeed want to do, then I mean still, it's not like many other organizations right now are in competition for some of these top challenger guys. We saw that last year, right? The likes of, okay, when Minnesota went out and got Standy and made that move towards the middle of the year, that really turned around their season. And other organizations, if they wanted to, could have snapped up a player like Standy earlier. And maybe Paris are finally coming to the realization that that could be a good idea, given that even some of the top teams haven't really signed a substitute player as of yet. So I guess they still have a chance to do it. This is what's going on in the North American Challenger side then. So yes, seemingly another option instead of Jimbo might be coming into Paris. But realistically, they don't have all that long. A week today, the major is already going to be underway. The losers games, I'm pretty sure, go on a week today. So Paris will play a week today. But what their team exactly is going to be is, well, relatively unknown right now. We imagine Gravity is going to be in there, that the fourth player is very much undetermined at the present time. And this also from Kismet. Unfortunate things that we keep on pushing. Now, of course, Kismet was on kind of this OpTic, or what are they calling it, Texas Nation team with General and Havoc was there as well. Havoc's been kind of that guy. We looked at Scump was talking about it, saying, okay, the gameplay from Havoc has been pretty typical as of late. And well, who knows, right, whether Kismet's saying this because Havoc has been recruited to Paris to play their matchup going forward and actually join that roster. Again, it's similar situation to Decimate really, where look, if you get a spot on Paris, do you really want to take the opportunity on Paris? Right? Do you want to wait around until a better opportunity might come along? Because yes, you don't want to turn down a Pro League spot, but if Paris just kills your stock, as it maybe has done to some other players, is it the greatest idea? So well, something to be considered there. This also familiar as we kind of segue here into the New York Subliners discussion. Team pass secured. See you guys at the OpTic Major. So not long as I say at all. I mean, a week yesterday, I guess, is when the Major officially begins on the Thursday. It's a 4-day weekend. It's going to be a packed day of matches, or packed weekend of matches. 4 games on the Thursday, 4 games on the Friday. Saturday might even have 5, I'm not sure. And then I guess Sunday might have 3. Or maybe there's even more than that. I'm not really sure how many. I think there's like 18 matches this weekend, so not sure how they're going to fit them all in. Hopefully they start the day somewhat earlier, or it's going to be some late ones over here in Europe, but you know, I guess we're used to that in Call of Duty at this point. But yes, exciting stuff, no doubt it's going underway. Now, yesterday evening, we looked at, well, a CDL Scrim Intel post of the Subliners versus Surge Scrim recap from the day before. Now, seemingly he has some sort of inside source into these type of series, because there was another Scrim recap that went on yesterday, and this is back to tradition here, really, for the Subliners. They get 0 forward in all the hardpoints. They lose the Bacage very closely, and it is quite interesting, really, looking at these games, because Bacage, you would think, would be a map where Subliners shouldn't be great in theory. Like, okay, they have Crim and Clay. You'd think their best map would be a map like Berlin. They lose this anyway to Surge, but I mean, still, they're pretty close here on the Bacage. It's really interesting, right? But they get 0 forward by Surge, supposedly in the Scrim set, was not streamed or, I'm pretty sure, anything publicly. So, well, we can't 100% say this is absolutely certain, but it seems relatively reasonable. Now, of course, going into this major, the expectation is, yes, they are going to be having royalty still in the team. They're going to give it a go at the major. The problem is, for them, they play in the losers bracket, the loser of Los Angeles Thieves and Toronto Ultra. So either way, they've got a very difficult first round matchup in the losers bracket. And if they lose this, how much do they really learn, right? If they lose like the hardpoint, they get 3-0, they get 3-1, did both hardpoints. Like, how much do they really learn? At that point, what do you do with the team? Do you decide to make another move for royalty? Do you keep the core duo as it is? So many questions that the Subliners are going to have to answer, but it was said in a post-game interview by Crimsix after they won their only series so far here in the CDL up against Boston. Nameless kind of said, look, what's the possibility of actually bringing Neptune back into the team? Is it something which is being considered? And in the kind of no pressure documentary too that they did, when it was kind of revealed that Neptune was going to be out of there, or at least they kind of talked about it a little bit in the video, that yeah, there was some talk about, okay, the gameplay, that the way Neptune is playing the game doesn't really seem to fit with the style of the way Crimsix and Clayster want to play the game right now, but well, it's still a possibility. Once he kind of learns to play that in challenges, I don't know, then he can come back into the team. Now, look, will that happen sooner rather than later? Because yesterday, Shotzzy and Scump, I'm pretty sure, and Zuma ran into Hydra and Neptune playing together in a ranked play game. Now, it was also very much revealed in that episode that Hydra and Neptune are boys. They got on really well. There was you know, some great camaraderie between these two guys, and it was kind of as a result of somewhat surprise, because these two guys seem to get on great as an SMG duo, and Crimsix and Clayster get on great as a kind of an AR duo. You'd think the team would work out quite nicely, right, with the interchemistry that may well be there as well. And also maybe if Hydra is teamed with Neptune, even if Neptune isn't coming back as of yet, maybe shows that the chemistry there with royalty isn't necessarily where it needs to be either. So definitely interesting stuff. This also could be a sign that Neptune might be making a return. I'll share a brief snippet here from the video and we'll discuss it in more depth.
Wait a minute.
Leak?
Leak?
Wait a second, guys.
What's going on here? Did we just discover something?
Did I run
Wait a minute.
Couldn't have queued, boys. Sorry. It's everywhere now.
Interesting.
Shouldn't have queued.
Interesting.
Wait a minute, dude.
Yo.
Now, Tony, we just did there's a development. There's a development.
Oh my God, we just joined the league games in, and Nep and Hydra are playing together.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Wait. Is this intel, like, actually, or not?
Is it real?
I mean, I believe so. I don't.
There's no way.
Is this actually intel?
Yeah, I think it's intel.
Like, actually, or like?
Oh my God, they're all one shot.
Wait, are you being dead? Really?
Yes. Look at the stream.
Oh, that's strike one. Are they pacing? Like, is it actually them?
Yeah, it's them.
So the other part of the whole Neptune benching originally was, okay, who was actually responsible for this? It was a very rash decision. Like, you know, was the entire team behind it? Was the coaching staff involved? Or was it just Crimsix and Clayster? Or was it just one of those guys, right? Was it just Crimsix? That seems to be what FormaL believes. He reckons even Dashy talked about it as well. That, yeah, they reckon that it was probably a Crimsix-led mission. That maybe there's some tongue-in-cheek stuff going on here to some degree. But it seems like they kind of believe, look, Crimsix came along, wasn't happy with the team, got Neptune on the bench, and the rest of the team couldn't really do all that much about it at the end of the day. And maybe with time, Neptune could return.
That's why I always let the players make their own decisions when it comes to who they play with and all that.
You do. As a player for you give a lot of power to the players, which is really, really good.
You have to.
You have to.
Why now?
Because, like, I feel like there's orgs that, I don't know specifics, but, like, I know there's orgs out there that just have, like, a GM that has way too much power.
Yeah.
Way too much, and like the players are sitting there like, I don't really want to play with this guy, but I kind of have to. There's like a new. Me and Brandon were talking about this the other day.
Oh, because it happened in Call of Duty.
Okay, so like Neptune was dropped from NY, right?
Yeah.
Me and Brandon are making hella jokes about it, right? We were saying this is like a solo mission from Crim. Okay, so like his teammates don't know about it. So like if I'm Clay, if I'm Hydra, I'm waking up the next day, I'm getting on for scrims. I look at my group chat and there's just like Crimsix has booted Neptune from the chat and he's added some new number, but he acts like nothing's wrong. He's like scrims at 11.
Yeah.
And you're like, who the is this?
Yeah.
Like, and that's what it felt like because like it was so quick and it seemed like it was like an only Crim thing.
Yeah.
And then
Wait,
like
but Crim's a player though, so like the decision should fall.
he is. I'm just saying it was just funny.
So is this a sign of anything, right? Would Neptune be back this soon? Like, it kind of would make sense to me that they try and give this a go with Royalty. I mean, look, at the end of the day, Crimsix, if he has kind of had a solo mission to lead this charge of Neptune out and Royalty into the team, like, it hasn't necessarily so far worked out to great effect. If it doesn't work out at the major, the organization's got to be sitting there thinking, okay, what are we doing, right? Especially if Neptune or if Royalty's got to get or if Neptune's back. Like, it's just absolute chaos. So they've really got to figure out what's going on here. And I mean, yeah, maybe Crimsix did orchestrate this behind the scenes. Of course, I guess the other guys had to agree to some degree, but that's the thing, just the way the coaching setup is over there. It seems like a lot of people have said even last year that Revan, who's technically the head coach, didn't do all that much with Clayster last year. Like, Clayster was kind of still leading the charge. Like, Revan wasn't necessarily the leadership figure. He could have been on the team, and especially with Crim there now, I'm pretty sure Revan even got released by the team and was then brought back because maybe they didn't have another option as the head coach going into the season. So not really sure there's much going on the coaching and general management side other than just the players get to call the shots. That's kind of what FormaL was talking about in that discussion with Hex, that you know, it's good that team managers in general give the players a lot of power, but what it does mean is you get situations like this where Crimsix is just well, potentially doing a solo mission to get rid of Neptune, even though Hydra probably still wants to play with him as we're seeing them queue up in league play, or maybe that's a sign they might be considering bringing him back. Who knows? On paper the talent is there. As I say, I'm not sure this current lineup of 4 is going to last all that long, especially if they don't get the results. So well, something's got to give at some point or another. What's it going to be? You guys can determine in the comment section below. This also just a couple of things to finish out the video from Jake Lucky, because I mean, last night we also talked about the OpTic skins coming into the game that don't look necessarily particularly good. Now, well, in OpTic Halo, they've put these ones in. Look, whatever you think about these skins, whether you think they're good or bad or whatever in between, like, at the end of the day, the OpTic guys got to actually design this and put them into the game themselves. Like, I mean, look at these camos right here. We've got the OpTic Gaming logos on them. It's all pretty nice stuff at the end of the day, and I think, well, other esports certainly could take some notes from what Halo's allowing, well, these organizations to do. Of course, it wasn't an instant turnaround from when Envy became OpTic to then actually having this skin in the game, but it wasn't too bad, right? And given the fact that it's been a month and a half really since the Boston Breach has been announced as a branding and they're into league, and still they can't for some reason put them into the team packs in the game, it just shows that maybe things aren't going as swimmingly as we would like them to be. Hopefully next year, especially if next year's COD, or this year's COD I guess, is actually going to be a 2-year Call of Duty, they better be good, right? Because we've got to deal with them for a relatively longer period of time. And just to finish out with this nice little bit of content from Atlanta FaZe, who do you think has the best aim outside of Vanguard? Simp, Cellium, and aBeZy go head-to-head in the IRL accuracy challenge. Like, I mean, look at MC right here. Like, look at this aim. This guy's absolutely cracked out of control. But yeah, very much intrigued to your thoughts and all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit a like button. Tells the YouTube gods it's a good video. I just like you should see it as well. And I've grown the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you much as always. Take care. And I will see you next time.